Okay, imagine stepping into a world where the gritty realism of a hard-boiled detective, it just slams right into high
Yeah,
fantasy.
like pure chaos.
Exactly. We're talking cynical private investigators,
Oh,
magically charged kittens that can literally suck out
you
despair,
can't make this stuff up.
and ancient idols with some really dark purpose. Well, you don't have to just imagine it, because today we're taking a deep dive into an excerpt from Glen Cook's uh, truly unique novel, Whispering Nickel Idols, a Garrett PI.
It's quite a ride.
This really isn't your average mystery. Cook masterfully blends that classic detective noir feel
Right, the atmosphere.
with this fantastically rich, sometimes kind of absurd fantasy world. So our mission today, basically, is to navigate this intricate narrative. We want to pull out the most important nuggets of knowledge, the insights from this specific book.
And try to uncover those hidden connections, the
Yeah.
things that make this world tick.
Yeah.
Think of this as your shortcut, maybe, to really understanding a fascinating new world. Not just the plot points, but why they matter.
Hmm.
We'll explore, complex characters, these mysterious plots, and the really unexpected ways that power, magic, even obligation, how they all weave together in this city, TunFaire.
Yeah, obligation is a big one for Garrett.
Oh, definitely. What really stands out to me right from the start is how Cook uses these like totally different elements
Seemingly different, yeah.
to create something entirely fresh
Yeah.
and honestly really memorable.
Okay, so let's jump right into the heart of it then. Our guide through all this is Garrett. He's a PI, seen it all, probably annoyed by most of it.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
He's got that classic hard-boiled cynicism, operates out of what he charmingly calls a glamorized janitor's closet.
Right. Not exactly a corner office.
Not at all. He's always getting dragged into trouble, often totally against his will, but he navigates it with, street smarts and a really sharp tongue. It's kind of a fun twist on the usual lone wolf detective, isn't it?
It absolutely is. Cook immediately flips that trope because he surrounds Garrett with maybe one of the most unconventional supporting casts you could possibly imagine.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh.
well, his primary partner, for instance, is the dead man.
Okay.
He's an ancient losher. Now, a losher is a species that stays in its flesh long after death.
Wow, okay.
And this particular one, mostly comatose. But, and this is the key part, when he does wake up, he has these incredibly powerful mind-reading abilities. He gives out these cryptic but totally crucial insights.
So he's like a magical, mostly sleeping supercomputer.
That's a pretty good way to put it, yeah.
So this isn't just a sidekick then. It's almost like a walking, talking, mostly sleeping plot device. How does a character like that even work in a PI story? Doesn't it feel like a cheat code for getting information?
That's a great question. And I think it speaks to Cook's skill, really. The dead man doesn't just, hand Garrett all the answers on a plate.
Right.
He provides fragments, connections, often things Garrett wouldn't even know to ask about. It forces Garrett to interpret, to connect these seemingly random bits to his actual street-level investigations.
Okay. So it still requires Garrett's legwork.
Exactly. And it's a way for Cook to bring in all this complex magical history, stuff that would feel really out of place coming straight from Garrett himself.
Makes sense. And it's not just the dead man, right? Garrett's got this whole menagerie around him.
Oh, yeah. There's Killer Singe. She's a resourceful rat person.
A rat person.
Ugh.
Okay, now in most fantasy, rat people are usually portrayed as timid or sneaky. How does she fit into this dangerous world?
And that's exactly the kind of contradiction Cook loves playing with. Rat people in TunFaire.
Yeah.
Often seen as meek, but Puler, she totally defies that stereotype.
How so?
She's incredibly clever, surprisingly durable, and her ability to just navigate the city's underbelly unseen, it makes her invaluable to Garrett. She's a fantastic example of how TunFaire, this god-plagued city, just redefines expectations for all its different races.
So she's like the ultimate stealth operative,
Yep.
but from a species you'd least expect. That's cool. And then there's Dean, the housekeeper.
Right, Dean. He seems like just a simple old man, right? But he's got this soft spot for strays, both human and, well, otherwise, including, get this, a tribe of tiny, mischievous pixies who live in Garrett's house.
Pixies. Seriously.
Seriously. So these companions, you've got a comatose mind reader, a pragmatic rat person, these chaotic pixies, and a kindly housekeeper with his own secrets. They aren't just, colorful background characters.
Right.
Each one represents a different facet of TunFaire's, like crazy magic and its social layers. It forces Garrett to rely on this truly unconventional network just to survive.
That paints such a vivid picture.
Precisely.
Mm.
And this whole crew operates within TunFaire itself, which feels alive with danger and magic. It's described as God-plagued, teeming with diverse non-human races, powerful sorcerers up on the hill. They're basically the city's secret master.
The secret masters, okay.
And this sprawling criminal underworld. The supernatural here, it isn't some weird anomaly. It's just part of the daily grind, something you might even grumble about on your way to work.
Huh. Yeah, like complaining about pixie traffic.
Exactly.
It really sets the scene. And the first hints of the actual mystery, they start right at Garrett's doorstep, don't they? Blurring those lines between the mundane and the magical.
They do. Dean, ever the softy, has taken in a street kid he calls Penny Dreadful.
Penny Dreadful, great name.
Who Garrett suspects is actually a girl. And seemingly innocently, a bucket of well-behaved kittens.
Okay, a street kid and some kittens. Innocent enough, right? But something tells me in TunFaire, nothing is ever just innocent. What's the real deal with these kittens?
You are absolutely right to be suspicious. These are no ordinary pets. The book immediately hints they're remarkable cats, and later we find out they are the luck of Alat.
The luck of Alat.
Yep. And this isn't just some quirky detail. It's a brilliant way Cook explores these subtle forms of manipulation and control. These kittens, they possess this, like, intoxicating, calming influence, almost like a natural high.
Whoa.
And later, we learn they have the astonishing ability to literally draw off despair. Their presence can shift the whole emotional vibe of a room, which, as we'll see, becomes incredibly central to the plot.
So even something as small and seemingly harmless as a kitten can be this powerful magical artifact in TunFaire. That's a fascinating way to ground the magic in the everyday.
Totally.
And that calming influence. That sounds key when we get introduced to the major players in TunFaire's underworld.
Yeah.
The powerful Contague crime family.
There's big bosses.
At its head is, or was, Chodo Contague, now a comatose crime boss who, back in his prime, actually murdered Belinda's mother.
Right. A dark history there.
And Garrett, for these complex reasons, rooted in a sense of justice and past dealings, owes Chodo this significant, long-standing debt, a debt he feels like morally compelled to pay.
Which puts Garrett in a terrible spot, doesn't it? He's basically indebted to this huge criminal empire.
Exactly. And running the show while Chodo's out of commission is his daughter, Belinda Contague.
Belinda. She's a chillingly efficient character, described as the perfect, beautiful woman without mercy.
Oh.
And the true brains of the outfit. Her father's coma. It's one of the city's best-kept secrets, known by maybe 5 people, the book says. And Belinda has used this time to ruthlessly restructure the whole organization, promoting people loyal to her. She's like an iceberg,
Yeah.
Calm on the surface, but immense hidden power underneath.
And this all kind of converges at this big, unsettling event. The birthday bash at Whitefield Hall, orchestrated by Belinda herself.
Yeah, the party.
Garrett dreads this thing, calls it a command performance. He's worried it'll just make the secret police, Railways runners, they're called, even more suspicious about his links to the Contagues.
Understandable.
The party itself sounds completely chaotic, marked by fires, lots of forced merriment, fueled by more than just the TunFaire gold wine.
Something else is definitely in the air.
And this public display of the comatose Chodo, presented as the guest of honor, it sounds like a total powder keg, just designed for maximum psychological impact.
It absolutely is. And what's really clever about this scene is that widespread happiness, the euphoria at the party, it's subtly manipulated by those kittens, and as we learn later, the idols. It highlights this core theme in Cook's work, how easily mass emotion can be engineered.
Mm-hmm.
Power in TunFaire isn't just about brute force or, flashy sorcery. It's also psychological warfare on this grand scale, an almost invisible kind of control that can make people happier by the minute, even as total chaos is erupting around them.
That's a really chilling thought, the idea that your own feelings might not even be your own. Wild. Okay, so this brings us to Harvester Temisk.
Ah, yes, Temisk.
Chodo's legal guy, his legal beagle. Initially, he seems genuinely worried about Chodo, right? He suggests the coma might be induced chemically or by sorcery, that Chodo just can't communicate. He even wants Garrett to basically rescue the kingpin.
Seems like a concerned employee at first glance.
But as we quickly find out, Temisk is definitely not what he seems.
Far from it. Temisk is secretly the one orchestrating these mysterious burning deaths that have been plaguing TunFaire's north side for about a year.
The burning deaths, right.
The victims literally burned to death without setting fire to the place where he died, often in buildings that Chodo owned. It's this chilling detail that points to something way more sinister than just, faulty wiring.
And Tmisk isn't doing this alone, is he? There's magic involved.
Right, he's using a flakes form of the stone firestone, it's called, that he got from the Aleph cult to cause these deaths.
Aleph cult. Okay, another piece.
He's deliberately targeting specific individuals, and later we find out he even doctored the lamps at that Whitefield Hall party, intending to set the whole place ablaze. It's calculated, subtle, and incredibly dangerous magic.
Wow. So he's playing a really long game.
Exactly. And it's here we meet another faction involved.
Oh.
The Green Pants Gang.
The Green Pants Gang. Seriously.
Yeah, Cook's names are great. These hairy, ugly, mixed breed guys, known for their stupid green pants, they actually try to break into Garrett's house.
Why?
They're revealed to be zealots from that same Aleph cult, from a city called Yimber, and they are specifically looking for Penny Dreadful and her magical kittens.
Stupid green pants. Cook really has a knack for injecting those small, absurd details that make the world feel so real and lived in, even with all the magic flying around.
Totally, it grounds it.
So, okay, these green pants guys are after Penny and the kittens, but they're also busy doing something else, aren't they? Something about renovating a hospital.
Yes, exactly. They're involved in renovating the Bledsoe, which is a charity hospital described kind of ominously as the mother lode of despair.
Mother lode of despair.
Okay, and they're installing these metal somethings into the walls during the renovation.
Metal somethings, vague. What are they?
Yeah, well, these turn out to be nickel jackal idols, ancient objects specifically designed to accumulate and amplify despair.
Amplify despair. Why would they want to do that?
This reveals the true scope of the Aleph cult's grand plan. They intend to scatter these despair-charged idols in areas where they want to basically recruit people.
How does that work?
The idea is to create this oppressive atmosphere of despair, which makes people feel hopeless, vulnerable. Then the cult's priests will swoop in and dispel this despair within their temples, offering this false relief.
Ah, to gain followers and money, probably.
Exactly. Gain followers, gain money. It's a really sophisticated, insidious con game powered by ancient magic, turning despair itself into a commodity.
That's dark. And we find out that Rock's egg that got thrown at Garrett earlier in the story, that was actually one of these valuable firestones, capable of igniting fires with just a psychic nudge.
Right. An incredibly dangerous tool, especially in the hands of a cult dead set on manipulating entire populations.
So the stakes just keep getting higher. Garrett's dealing with more than just a missing person or a simple crime here.
Absolutely. Yeah. Way more. And the true turning point, I think, the moment where all the deeper magical and political stuff fully comes to the surface, is triggered by an unseasonably severe snowstorm.
A snowstorm. How does that fit in?
This storm acts as a catalyst. It fully awakens the dead man.
Ah, the supercomputer comes online.
Pretty much. With his full faculties back, he becomes the central source of exposition, finally connecting all these different threads for Garrett and, for us as readers.
Okay, so what does the newly awake dead man reveal about Penny Dreadful, the cults?
Well, Penny Dreadful, it turns out, is the last priestess of Alit. Alit means Queen of the Night. This was a cult focused on love and peace from that city Yimber.
Okay, the good cult, basically.
Essentially, yeah. Her mother was tragically murdered by zealots from the rival Aleph cult.
Green pants guys.
Right. The Aleph cult, which is now fundamentalist and really aggressive, they acquired this horde of dangerous firestones when they took over Aleph's temple. So it's this classic power struggle, but with huge magical implications.
And it gets even more tangled up with the criminal underworld, doesn't it? How does Chodo Contague fit into these cults?
Yeah, this is where it gets really messy. The dead man reveals that Chodo Contague actually had a secret history with the Aleph cult.
Secret history?
He suborned their sextons, guys like Mr. Krask and Mr. Sadler, basically hired them to commit violence that couldn't be traced back to his own organization.
So he outsourced his dirty work to the cult.
Exactly. But in doing so, he unknowingly financed the rise of this really aggressive Aleph faction. It's a classic case of, past actions having these huge unforeseen consequences. An underworld boss accidentally funding a dangerous magical cult.
Wow. Talk about blowback.
A truly fatal miscalculation, really, on multiple levels. The dead man also reveals Chodo's true fate.
Which wasn't just a simple coma.
No. He was systematically poisoned. Likely by Mary Skuldite, another underworld figure who had this deep hatred for his brother Rory.
Okay, so poisoning, not just a coma.
Right. And once Chodo started to recover just enough from the poison to understand his situation trapped in his own body, the sheer frustration at his helplessness drove him mad.
Oh, man.
The book describes him as essentially an herbal cage for a seething black hell haunted by genius.
That's a terrifying description. A genius trapped in madness and paralysis. But here's where it gets even more disturbing, right? About the burning deaths.
Yes. Chodo, in his madness, somehow discovered he could spark residual firestone flakes, the ones Temis had been providing him, supposedly as medicine.
The ones Temis was using for the murders.
Exactly. Chodo could spark these flakes on the hands and clothing of his targets just with his mind, making him an unwitting mass murderer from his bedside.
He didn't even know he was doing it.
Or maybe he did, in his madness. It's ambiguous. And the cruelest irony, his supposed antidote for the poison was a crushed form of the very same firestone.
So he was both the victim and, unknowingly or not, the perpetrator, driven by his own despair and trapped genius. That's incredibly dark.
It's a brilliant, grim twist. It shows how victims can become monsters themselves in this world. And those kittens we talked about way back,
Yeah, the luck of Alat.
they become incredibly significant right here. As the luck of Alat, they have this powerful, calming effect. They're the only things that can keep Chodo stable and sane.
Seriously. The kittens keep the mad crime lord stable.
Their presence makes him feel close to human, the dead man says. They are his anchor in that seething black hell, the unexpected counterforce to all the despair he embodies and experiences.
So these seemingly innocuous furballs are literally the key to keeping a mad, comatose, mass-murdering crime lord sane. That is peak Glen Cook right there.
Absolutely.
So Garrett, driven by this really profound sense of obligation to Chodo, despite everything, he's now tangled up in a conspiracy far bigger than he ever imagined.
Totally out of his depth initially.
He was basically a pawn for Timisk, a target for Skuldite, and all the while being watched by the city's watch and the secret police. His personal code of honor just dragged him into this truly world-altering mess.
And it all comes together in this really complex resolution, orchestrated mostly by the now fully awake dead man.
The supercomputer earns his keep.
He really does. He brings together this array of unlikely players, including Silverman, a custom jeweler.
A jeweler? Why?
He's brought in to work with those nickel-jackal idols. The idea seems to be to transform them, maybe neutralize their negative despair-sucking qualities.
Or maybe even harness their power for good.
Possibly. That's the intriguing part.
That's a huge gamble, though. Trying to turn a weapon of despair into a tool for, well, for what? What about Chodo himself? What's his fate in all this?
Chodo's mind, according to the dead man, has been set free by the combined influence of the kittens and the idols working together. He can actually speak again, though his voice is just a rasp.
Wow.
He's still in his wheelchair, still a prisoner of his body, but his genius is restored. He even acknowledges Garrett's crucial role in his liberation. But here's the catch.
There's always a catch in TunFaire.
Right. He can only maintain this baseline sanity under the continuous influence of the child and the kittens.
So Penny and the cats have to stay with him.
Seems like it. It's a very bittersweet kind of salvation. He's free, but still dependent.
It definitely doesn't sound like a simple happy ending. More like a carefully managed new beginning. And the underworld itself gets shaken up by all this, right?
Oh, massively. Mary Skuldite's detailed memoirs, which the dead man mentally extracted.
Mind reading again. Useful skill.
Very. Those memoirs get handed over to Colonel Block the Watch, and they expose the darkest and most secret machinery of the underworld.
So total chaos for the criminals.
It promises this dramatic shift towards a rule of law, which, while probably intended for good, the book notes will undoubtedly make life inconvenient for the rest of us, meaning people like Garrett who operate in the gray areas. It's a profound shift in TunFaire's whole power dynamic.
A more lawful, but maybe less interesting TunFaire.
Perhaps. It certainly introduces a glimmer of hope, but also maybe a new kind of control. And here's this really important question that kind of bubbles up from this whole convoluted plot. Could the despair-sucking idols, if they're handled right, like maybe by Silverman the jeweler, could they actually drive whack jobs sane?
Wait, use the despair suckers to cure madness.
That's the implication. This unexpected potential upside to this villainy. It presents this fascinating moral and practical dilemma. The Bledsoe Hospital, that mother lode of despair, could potentially be healed using the very things meant to worsen it.
Wow. That really makes you think about the dual nature of power, magic, maybe even technology in our world, right?
Exactly. Can dangerous things be repurposed?
What a deep dive that was into the world of Garrett, P.I. I mean, from a cynical detective's kind of grimy office
The janitor's closet.
to the hidden depths of these crime families and ancient weird cults. we've navigated a world where even the most mundane things, like, a bucket of kittens or a green rock, can hide these profound world-altering secrets.
Mhm.
This whole dive, I think it's shown us how seemingly separate elements can be so intricately woven together into this fabric of power, magic, and just human and non-human ambition. It's like a masterclass in uncovering the hidden forces at play in a really complex, fantastical reality.
It really is. And it's a powerful reminder, I think, that beneath the surface of everyday life,
Hmm.
whether you're in a fictional city like TunFaire or just, in our own world, there are often these layers of intrigue, these ancient influences maybe, and unexpected connections just waiting to be discovered.
Yeah.
Cook masterfully crafts this world where being a hero isn't about grand gestures, it's more about navigating these immense complexities with just a stubborn sense of obligation, like Garrett does.
So maybe as you go about your day, think about the nickel idols in your own life.
Interesting way to put it.
Yeah, like the subtle, often unseen influences, maybe technologies, maybe social dynamics that might be shaping your emotions or your community, or even the kind of madness of the world around you.
That's a deep thought.
And could those forces, if we really understood them, if they were maybe re-engineered somehow, could they ever be harnessed for an unexpected, maybe greater good?
And what role might you play in that kind of transformation?
Exactly, something to chew on.